I see myself. That's crazy. Woo! What up, stream?
By the way, we have his socials too. You can kind of point at it. It's like to your right shoulder. I think if you point, yeah, right there. Yeah. And then we got my
I don't
socials
know,
too.
bro. That's
Yeah,
cool,
like
bro.
right on
I
it.
feel like I'm at the big times, boy. We made it.
All right.
Well, I actually pointed right to it. Nice.
Yeah, you were like right on the money.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna give the stream a little bit longer to have people join up. Then we'll start.
Well, look at our. Dude, wait, what? You have a better lens on your webcam for sure.
Well, also it might be getting like a bad quality from Discord too, or not bad quality. It's still really good, but
yeah. I don't know. I just like, dude. I want some like fat blur in the background.
oh yeah. The
aperture, whatever it's called.
Yeah, really low aperture. Yeah, the lens that I got doesn't actually autofocus, so like I got a deal on it, but it's like awful for
Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I gotta
like
be really careful. I can't move too much.
I need to buy a wide lens on Amazon, but I don't know if there's like a certain brand I should buy. All I know is I need like one that's good for like my Sony camera, but I don't know which one to get.
I could send you this one. It's manual, so it's kind of a pain, but it looks really nice for the price.
All right.
But an autofocus.
I mean, the one just
like
like,
move.
yeah. I mean, if it's just for vlogging, because
Also
like,
stream. Let's set up the background.
did you see Aiden's tweet or whatever?
Oh,
He was like vlogging, but it was like super close up. He's like, "How do I fix it?" People were just like, "Buy a new lens."
Yeah. Yeah, the lens is like everything, honestly. Camera just kind of captures. The lens does like the actual artistic part.
Yeah.
Stream, do we prefer the purple background or then the white?
Oh, I got purple.
Yeah, I did too. You have like the lights, like the.
Yeah, well, I just have like an RGB strip above. I don't have like a. Do you have like an actual light bulb?
Yeah.
Oh, rip. No, I'm not that fancy. No.
We still gotta figure out how I'm gonna do an intro. So if you guys have watched like Keemstar or Adam22 from No Jumper, they all have like their signature intro. I talked to Ducky about it before this, so I still gotta figure something out. So I'm thinking for now we'll just introduce myself, and then Ducky will kind of introduce himself, and then we'll get into stuff from there. But anyway, I'm TheNest. This is TheNest. We're doing a podcast where we're talking about mobile gaming and gaming in general. We're here with Ducky. He is a Fortnite mobile player, so obviously a mobile player. That's why he's here. He's going to talk about his experiences, content, all that fun stuff. We're going to be talking about our relationship too, because we've kind of gone through a very similar path, and I wanted to talk about that. But anyway, yeah, Ducky, introduce yourself.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy DuckyTheGamer. Yeah, I play Fortnite Mobile, daily videos, sort of daily streams, 5-6 times a week on Twitch. Been doing it for about the past year or so. Yeah, I don't really know. Just like I said, Hawks Night, we have a similar start with sport mobile games. Then that died off, and then we just went into different battle royale mobile games, and then we're here. So pretty crazy. We took slightly different paths, but ended up almost in the same spot. So that's me, I guess. I don't know.
So you started with were we both on Madden Mobile, or did you start with NBA?
Oh no, I hopped on NBA like when I didn't even I wasn't even a football fan. Like I watched football, like the Cowboys play. I didn't know any players. Knew like the quarterback Tony Romo, and then Madden Mobile came out, and all my friends were playing it at school. It was the big game in freshman year of high school. So I was like, screw it, let me download it, play it, and it was fun. The auction house aspect, like the gameplay was horrible, but just the fact you can play with all your friends. You know, it can relate to the real world with the sports that are going on and the live events, stuff like that. So Madden Mobile is where I got my mobile start. I played Clash of Clans a little bit before that and made some content, but it was really bad content, like base builds. You know, like I really started to pick up my quality and care about my channel more when it came to the side of Madden Mobile. That's where I sort of took things a little bit more seriously. And then that just led me up, did that for 3 years, led me all the way up to 2018. Madden Mobile sucks. It's dying.
That's a fact.
Fortnite Mobile came out, or Fortnite was already out. I played since season 1, Xbox and PC. I sucked on Xbox. I sucked on PC. Mobile came out, and I was like, I already have 35K subs from mobile, Madden Mobile. So if I play mobile Fortnite, you know, there might be some sort of crossover, might click a little better. And, you know, what do you know? That's exactly what happened. The crossover between the two genres sort of gave my content on Fortnite Mobile a little bit of an edge. I was the only Fortnite Mobile content creator on all of YouTube for some reason. And that, you know, I have a monopoly in the market. You know, it's just going to happen. I'm going to get views. So my content wasn't necessarily the best, but just kept doing that. Fortnite Mobile and then did streams and just sort of evolved my content and my quality over the last year to the point where I'm full time right now. Dropped out of college last semester, so this last 6 months been full time grinding, and that was one of the best decisions I've ever had, to be honest, in terms of my career. So that's sort of where I started the journey and where I'm at now. But
so yeah, actually, so I also remember when you were first like transitioning. So you kind of started with Madden Mobile, as you said, and then you did a little bit of NBA here and there. Then didn't you try ROS too for like a little bit, like a couple weeks? I remember you were on maybe PC or mobile. What was it?
Yeah, so like ROS was bang, like dude, people are pulling hundreds of like this is when Noah is just like uploading a video. It's a regular commentary, just average thumbnail, hundreds of thousands of views, and I'm like, bro.
Yeah,
I might as well try it. It doesn't hurt. So I made a second channel. I grinded that for a few weeks. And then like a new season dropped and I played that for a week and I was like, dude, I suck at this game, or I wasn't like the best. And this game is like kind of glitchy, kind of buggy.
Yeah.
And and I tried it out. It just wasn't me. It's such a nice reason that I actually fell into like the Fortnite scene, because the PUBG games are so long and so boring, and there's no building. And you're walking around the whole time. And I just felt like Fortnite was a really good mix for my personality. So even though there wasn't that much, the growth wasn't there initially, I just, I'm having fun with it. I always say, the best way to grow content is to make content that you have fun making, not just do stuff for views. So I realized that, and I pretty much stopped ROS there. But
yeah. So out of curiosity, personally, like when I was switching from Madden Mobile to our Rules of Survival, to be specific, I had like a period in time where I didn't really know what to do with my channel. When you were transitioning between games, did you ever hit a point where like you were maybe thinking about, just stopping, quitting? Have you ever had a moment like that? I'm actually really curious about that.
So the switch, I think, came around February or March. I'm not sure when. But Madden Mobile, 2018. Madden Mobile was basically at the worst state. Viewership was declining, content was stale. I was coming home and saying, oh no, I have to make a video today. Not really, I want to make a video, there's content. It was more just me forcing myself. So I'd been playing Fortnite with my friends. I tried some content here and there, stream or two, and it just didn't really work out. So yeah, I don't think I ever had a point where I said I'm going to quit. But if Fortnite Mobile would not have worked out, I probably would have quit, because I was already accepted to college. I already had all that stuff planned out. And so I didn't see much of a point to continue when there's the time put in doesn't equate to, the results I'm looking for.
Yeah. So
luckily it worked out, and almost immediately when doing Fortnite mobile streams, I saw some success and I saw something was there, some potential that I could use to grow and stuff like that. And so if it wouldn't have worked out, I probably would have quit. But fortunately, got some views.
So you were talking about like you got accepted to college like in between the time you were transitioning, right? Mm-hmm. So, and you've dropped out by now because you want to go full-time content. So in terms of like your actual like real life education, things like that, how was it trying to balance it? Because I remember I'd see your tweets back then saying like it was difficult because you had to do like full-time school, you had obviously content, and then you moved into a dorm at one point too. How was it like doing that? And then how did the decision to switch over to full content, like not just feel, but what led you to really dedicate like a decision to that? Like what made you decide?
So it was much, much worse once I got to college, because in high school I was doing daily 3-hour streams. I wasn't doing videos at this point. I was just streaming, and that was working really well for me. I graduated top 6% of my class in high school, and everything was going great. I passed my exams, went to school, didn't skip any classes. I was still growing my channel at a crazy rate for the amount of time I was putting into it, 3-4 hours a day. And so that was, I always like, some people in high school really have it rough. They've signed up for too much, or they're taking on too much, and then they want to start YouTube. Like it's so easy, in my opinion, not so, but it's so doable to grow a brand, grow a channel, make content as a high school student, as a middle school student, that I don't understand. Like I'm dropping out of high school. It's like I see so many people tweet about that all the time, and it's just like, why? What? But no, just like you don't have to put 8 hours a day into stuff to grow your brand. And so when I got to college, that's when I was doing daily videos, trying to do daily streams, also going to classes. I'm in a dorm, with a roommate. And so it got to the point where I either had to choose between college and content creation. Obviously, content creation is much more fun than going to classes all day. So it was getting to the point, putting like 120 hours in for school and for content creation a month. And I was driving myself insane. And that is people who could do college and content creation at the same time. I am extremely impressed by. I know Beaks is the big Fortnite content creator. He's still in college right now. There's still a few others. So I decided to go full time, drop out. Like I said, that was a really good decision. Being able to put as much time and effort into content creation as I can, but also realizing the fact that I'd been growing. There's a lot of potential for me to grow, and not that I had peaked and I'm going to be on the decline. Yet I'm going to be dropping out and risking, a college career for something I hope works out. One of those more not set in stone, but there's more foundation, for me at the time. So it's very doable to manage education in a life, a social life. Not a social life. Education.
It depends.
Yeah. You have to make sacrifices if you want to achieve what your end goal is. And for me, that's growing a brand, being able to do this full time. So my social life has almost dwindled. But that's not a problem to me because I was never the social kind of guy going to parties every weekend. And so if you pick and choose what you value, it's really easy for you to be successful. But you can't have everything. You can't have a social life. You can't have a successful channel. You can't have good grades. If you could do that, you're probably getting 2 hours of sleep a night and driving yourself insane. So I don't know. I think I touched on a lot of things right there, but education is important in today's society. And I think people are just like, I want to play video games. Ninja got clout. I want clout. Let's drop out of school.
Yeah, and one thing with that too is like a lot of people. Okay, so obviously you're a content creator and a pro player, but in terms of competition, because Fortnite Mobile doesn't have a lot of competition, you're mainly focused on growing your brand because the future of esports in terms of Fortnite Mobile is, basically non-existent. So one thing I see a lot of like mobile players and anyone that wants to get into esports, one of the biggest mistakes I see is people like want to drop out of school because they're really good. Like even if they're competing in competitions and maybe even on an org, dropping out of school in my eyes is an awful decision because you have nothing that can sustain your career. Because a pro player could become like awful. People could surpass them. Yeah. A new game could come out and they're nothing, right? But the thing about a content creator is they develop a lot of skills that they can move into future careers, and they develop a following, which is really ideal to certain employers. Like if you have a big following on Twitch or YouTube, I feel like you can transition into all kinds of jobs. You have so many options because you've proven and you built your resume. Whereas if you're a professional gamer, you kind of like you don't have any actual experience for a true job, but even though you can make great money. So that's one thing I've really liked about what you've done is you focused on your Instagram. Amazingly, your Instagram on top. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, like all your socials, you really like focused on building that out. And I imagine your thought process on that is not only growing your brand now, but in the future, you're developing some sustainability. Is that kind of what your plan is with socials too, in a way?
So as some people know, I'm announcing my organization tomorrow. Hawks already knows. We're not leaking it, by the way. That's not why you're here to be in this interview to leak my org. But that was a big part of it, joining the organization. It's not just, the internet is such a frugal thing. Things come and go so fast. Fortnite, a year and a half ago wasn't a thing. And the fact that I'm able to drop out of college and do this in such a fast time frame it almost makes me wonder, will I be gone in the same year and a half? Is that all I've got to me? And so it's interesting in that regard. So I have been working, on all my social media platforms. Twitter is sort of just for the memes. You interact with people. That's about it. Instagram, daily clips on there, trying to put effort into it. But not a whole lot. I just take content from my stream, clip it, upload it. It's 5-10 minutes a day.
It's the best way, honestly.
Yeah. and it's been really helpful for me. YouTube is where I put most of my time and effort into. That has seen the most rewards in terms of revenue. Just hit 400,000 subscribers, pulling in good views of video.
There we go.
And
400
so
is amazing.
YouTube is my favorite social media, and the fact that you don't have to have it, like, there's a lot of stuff you could do to take your content to the next level without actually improving your content. You can get better titles, you can get better thumbnails, you can research the algorithm, you can research what YouTube prefers to focus on that. Instead of Twitch and Instagram, where it's sort of a wild, mystery, you can stream for 10 hours on Twitch and pull the same viewers. You can stream for 2 hours and just get a crazy stream.
Very true.
There's not much consistency on Instagram or Twitch in terms of how an audience is built, but YouTube, in my eyes, is the social media platform that I can put time and effort into, and that time and effort pays off.
It's an art, honestly.
Yeah, and so I've done my best to build my social media following as best as I can, and like I said, joining an org, I'll be getting a lot of sustainability with that, and so I'm really looking forward to everything that's going to come with that. But yeah, I think when people just say I'm good at a game, I want to make content, you have to realize that if somebody, it's like the same thing if I'm really good at writing books. Well, you got to write a good book, you got to get it published, you got to get exposure. You can't just drop out and quit everything you have going on in your life to pursue one dream. Work on it as a side hobby, and it's everyone who's blown up. Ninja is probably the best example. He went to college to the point where he could drop out. He was doing this at the same time. And so I think the current generation of people who want to be content creators don't realize that everyone who got here still was doing everything they were doing originally, just either sacrificing a thing or two, and then ending up, it worked out for them. So
yeah.
Let me see. Can I cheer a bit? Lol.
Can you? I wanted to see if people are able to, because I don't know if they can
get
or
some
not.
bits real quick. Get some biddies. But yeah, it's really just I don't know. It's tough to tell somebody that don't pursue your dream. Don't dive in head first.
Be smart about it.
Yeah, dip your feet into the water. If it goes good, get a little bit further, but don't just jump in head first and drop everything you're already doing. It's very dumb. And that goes to anything in life. But I think people see gaming, they just see money. They see it's so easy. Look, you just post a video to get views. It is easy, but it takes a while to get to that point. So
yeah, that's very true. I feel like I was saying before with content creators versus pro players, like you'll even see pro players that upload montages, and I've been victim to this, and I've been trying to kind of change that lately. But like if you just upload kill montages, like you can get some viewers then, but you got to build your personal brand. You got to
get personality.
Yeah, exactly. Go on.
People, I don't know. I think personality is so impactful now.
Yeah.
Because like you could be crap at a game, but you could be so funny about being bad that people will follow you, people will support you.
The dog.
Yeah, exactly. He's probably the best example of having a crazy good personality.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things esport teams are focused on. Now they're more focused on content creators. We need brand exposure. Because before it's winning tournaments, everything. Let's get these wins, these dubs. But now it's like, well, you're not even going to get people to join your team if they don't know who your team is. And so you need those content creators to get exposure. And it's really easy, for content creators to basically do what they're doing and just hop on a team and, work together and mutual benefits and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think pro players, if done right, what's his name? Nothing. I think he's Shroud. Shroud, actually, I want to touch on him.
He's perfect.
He's a pro player. He is a god, but he's also a content creator. He's a mix. He's the best of both worlds, and that plays in really perfect into his side of things, because people watch him just because he's insane. People watch him because he's funny. People watch him for both reasons, and that's the best of both worlds. So with me, I'm not a pro player because there's not a pro scene, but I'm really good at the game, so people come for me for tips and tricks and stuff like that. So I guess that's how that works out.
I would even say Shroud is like an anomaly, because me and Ferg have actually talked about this. If you guys don't know Ferg, he's my teammate on Cloud9. We've talked about how Shroud is just that guy. So even though like his personality like is a very chill guy, people love him for just being a chill dude. But he's not a Dr. Disrespect. He's nothing like abnormal. He's just a chill guy. But I think the one thing that really sets him apart is that when you like see a new game that comes out, I feel like Shroud is just that guy. Like you go on Twitch and you're like, all right, is Shroud playing this? Like, let's see the gameplay. Like that's how me and Ferg have seen him. And I feel like he's just one of those guys. Like his personality doesn't have to be incredible to be pull viewers, but he doesn't have to be playing PUBG to pull viewers. It's just people know he's that guy. So
he's cracked.
In a sense, yeah, exactly. He's that anomaly. He's OP. And I feel like in mobile, we don't really have people doing that yet to where they're just those guys. And I know Ferg is trying to actually be that guy. But in terms of content creators, I feel like we got you, and then there's a couple other, but you're definitely like setting that standard for like your quality. Like I love your stream too. Like your layout looks super clean. People just will be like, if there's a new game that comes out and you're playing it, I feel like you're definitely that guy that people will go to be like, hey, yo, we got nice quality. Let's see this new game.
I think it's interesting. I guess for YouTube, it's a little bit weird because, you know, I could be insane on the new game, but if that new game isn't popular enough, then YouTube will promote it. People will find out about the game. So it's really, it's, you know, I think he's found a crazy niche where he could play any game and he's really good at it. For me, since I'm on mobile, I already get the experience of being on mobile, but you still have to learn the game mechanics. You still have to learn, you know, the ins and outs. And so I just don't think there's been enough mobile games to come out that can even, you know, give somebody the opportunity. Call of Duty Mobile is going to be a really good opportunity for somebody to be really good at the game and also have a really good personality. And I think that's where Ferg's going to shine. I'm going to probably focus more on the personality, you know, get good gameplay, stuff like that. But, you know, Fortnite is probably the best game where it could be insane and people watch it because of that, or you can just be super funny, entertaining, you know, like Tim the Tap Man and that whole squad. They're okay. They can win a game or two, but they're just really funny together. So
they're not competitive players by any means.
Yeah, no.
Well, that's what entertainment is. Like people have different ways they're entertained, but I feel like with especially Fortnite, it's a very good background game that fits well into like I can watch this for a while because it's very like unique and like there's different there's all kinds of things that happen. Whereas like PUBG is very like one-sided, like you point and shoot a gun, like there's not a whole lot. So Fortnite, you get very creative, you got build fights, you got all this stuff that complements that doesn't require a ton of like grinding like pro player. You can still be like very solid, develop your brand and be like someone to watch, and you don't have to be, you know, crazy at the game like you were saying. I think that's what's really good about Fortnite Mobile too, or just Fortnite in general.
Yeah, I think, you know, Tfue has like very average, very average quality of content. He's got a regular face cam. He's got a mic. He doesn't even rock an overlay now that he's in phase. He's got some crappy alerts, but does he pull some insane views because he's got a unique personality and he's really good at the game. So, you know, I think that goes with any game. If you're just that funny and that good, you know, quality of content is just an extra thing that could be added on. But I don't know, at the same time, you know, the fact that it is a little bit scuffed also adds to it, in my opinion. Like, he's just that good, but he does not care about anything else. Focus. I think that's kind of cool.
All right, so my next question is kind of related to the game itself. So I wrote down, like, I just wanted to talk to you about the So you met the developers at one point. How do you see... What was your experiences with them, and then also in terms of support for mobile and things that you've noticed just with Fortnite Mobile in general and the platform? What are some things that like you saw or talked to the devs about, or things that you possibly see in the future? Just anything you'd like to touch on relating to the platform?
So when I went to the Epic Games headquarters back in February, because I had made a video, multiple videos, basically just calling out Epic Games. You know, you've got mobile, you've got this crazy player base, you're making so much money on it, but in the community's eyes, you don't care about the platform. There's a lot of glitches, a lot of bugs, a lot of things that need to be fixed and haven't been even addressed. And so when I went there, it was, you know, better than I expected. I had meetings with some higher ups that I was like, all right, you guys really care. And they do care about mobile. It's just when a company has never made a mobile game before, it's hard for them to perfect. It's hard for anyone to perfect something they are new into. And so the fact that Fortnite can even run a mobile is crazy. And the fact that they made it look this good, and now at this point, season, what are we, 9? Season 9 runs this well. Like seasons 3 through 7, it's crap. We have bugs and glitches and HUD issues. And now it was like the day before I went to Epic Games, they released an update that fixed every single thing I was going to talk about with them. And so I went there empty-handed, and I was like, you guys just like fix it, like good GG, but now I can't talk about anything. So they really do care about mobile, but at the same time, they have way more eyes on the PC and console scene.
Yeah.
So just because they're making more money on mobile, that's sort of just it's a portable item shop. So
yeah, that makes sense. It might not even be mobile players. It could just be people that want to purchase things for their PC accounts. So it is hard to really gauge that revenue stream.
So it's hard to really, say that they don't care, because they do. But at the end of the day, they've done a really good job, these last few months. Ever since, I left, they've improved the communications there. If I ever need something answered, I can hit up the community manager, and more likely than not, in a few minutes or few hours, he will have an answer for me. Or I can submit a problem to him, submit a glitch, and it'll probably be fixed in the next update. So these last few months have been, for just the mobile platform itself, have been really good. But it's ironic that as soon as mobile gets fixed, Fortnite becomes sort of the issue, where it's the balance stuff and there's just glitches in the overall game itself, not just mobile. So I think Epic Games really does care about mobile as a whole, though.
Yeah, and I feel like when mobile first came out, Fortnite Mobile specifically, the games that I can think of that were kind of big, PUBG Mobile was kind of big, Ross was not in its prime, but it was all right, Critical Ops. So it's like there was certainly like a template for what a mobile game could look like, and the controls and all that. And I feel like the stage that Fortnite Mobile was released with, there wasn't custom HUDs at the start, right? Like right on release.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so they released in a very like kind of just bad state, like very casual, like pick it up, maybe play, but no like really getting into it.
Yeah.
And I feel like their growth has been incredible. Like from where they started to where they are now, like it's one of the most versatile customization like games that there is now. Like of any game, honestly, you can customize so much, and I love that.
I mean, it was when I started the game, no customization. You couldn't change your settings, I don't believe. And it's come a very, very, very long way in terms of customization, optimization, features within the game itself that are mobile specific. They actually added a new button this last update that is mobile specific and helps out. And so mobile really started off as an extremely casual game. The developers, when I went there, they told me that they didn't even know people were playing it on a competitive level until I started to reach out to Freight Train, and my stuff started getting more attention. It really wasn't until, there's a main issue. They didn't even know people played with more than 2 fingers. They thought that was nothing. They didn't know it existed. And so it wasn't until after they saw one of my hand cam videos that they figured out people played more than 4 fingers, and they were actually able to fix some glitches relating to playing with claw. And so, mobile is still a very casual platform at heart, but they give all the tools, needed for somebody to, be as good as they can and try their hardest and to become that pro Fortnite mobile player, even though there's no pro scene.
Yeah.
So if you want to be the biggest noob in the world, you can put on auto fire, you can rock default HUD, you can be the biggest noob in the world and be okay. If you want to be the biggest sweat in the world, you can be the biggest sweat. So I think Fortnite Mobile has come a long ways in terms of getting as many options as possible to people regarding, their play style and their comfort and their skill level and stuff like that. So I respect them for what they've been able to do.
Yeah, and actually, so in the chat right now, Irene said mobile is young. And I think that's definitely true, because like right now we're still in a state where the 3 major BR titles, I feel like maybe a month or 2 ago, everybody was angry. I remember the Fortnite mobile community was super pissed off. There was like, I don't know what the glitches were, but there was a ton. PUBG Mobile had the door glitch. Ross has had our glitches. There was just a point in time where everyone was kind of looking at the mobile scene and like, damn, like this is awful. And I feel like people kind of forget like the PC scene, right? They've been developing CS, like Counter-Strike, for
20 plus years. Like
exactly.
Years.
Exactly. And mobile games is like, I mean, they've been doing mobile games for a while, but they've popped off the past year and a half, 2 years maybe, since like ROS was the first like battle royale on mobile. And then before that, I think Critical Ops. But, obviously it's so new, and I feel like it's moving so fast that like month by month, there's these new buttons and then new games that are going to come out are going to pick up off those other games. And it's still like, it's in such a developmental state that I think a lot of people kind of underlook it.
And I always point that out, like, oh, we're not being treated like PC players, but like, because we're not. You can't expect, when you've got a game ironed out to, a perfection level with any new game that comes out. Fortnite, PC games been out 15, 20 years. They have, if something breaks, they have an idea how to fix it. Mobile, something breaks, they're researching it in their textbooks on how to fix this certain error because it hasn't been done before. And so you have to give the benefit of the doubt that it is a very new platform. It is very experimental in a lot of the things that are being done in terms of being added, being fixed, and stuff like that. So I always have to, realize that mobile is very new. Fortnite came out just over a year ago on mobile and has made all these leaps and bounds. But then again, a year in the internet community, like I said earlier, seems like an eternity.
Fact.
And so, I feel like Fortnite mobile came out years ago.
Yeah.
And that's just not the case. So I think 2-3 years time, we're going to be rocking 120 FPS on the latest tablets, 120, 240 refresh rate, displays, and things are going to be different. But, right now it's so new and companies are just starting to put time and money into developing like mobile gaming. So,
yeah, so the iPad Pro, right? Like you have the newest one, the 2018. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like we're at a point where devices are definitely getting to the point where they're capable of things. I was in your stream earlier, we were talking about it. Like the iPad Pros, especially the newest one, could do 120 FPS and display.
Somebody's done it before.
Yeah, like you can. So there's a way to like glitch it or whatever, like unlock FPS,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So
somebody's done it and it worked.
Yeah. So the hardware is there. I just feel like right now they're still at a point where like they want to kind of meet the lowest common denominator because most mobile players, right? They don't got the new iPad. They got an iPhone 8 Plus. Like that's probably the median device, I would think.
Yeah.
So,
I would. Yeah.
So I love like the games that are taking the customization route because then they give the user the options. But I still am kind of curious as to why they haven't given the capability to do 120 FPS because it's there. But I do think that's the thing we're definitely seeing in mobile is a lot of games kind of going to the lowest common denominator and like keeping the graphics low. And I really like that. But the games that do the customization are the ones that are really setting themselves apart. And again, like the 3D resolution in Fortnite Mobile, that's one thing I love. Like no other games really have that, but it gives you so many options to just fit your game to your device. And I really like that about the future of mobile.
Yeah, I mean, frames are. It's when I went to the Epic Games, I was like, I asked people what they wanted. They want more frames, and they told me we're not about to break people's devices. At the end of the day, these are mobile devices. These are tiny CPUs. There's no cooling, and it's once it gets very new. So they're not going to be allowing people to rock, 120 frames. 60 frames on a device that is multiple years old when Apple, every single freaking press conference, they're like, yo, we got a new phone 40% faster. So like every phone seems to be 40% faster. So when you have a 3-year-old phone, that's what like it just seems like it runs like a potato compared to the newest and greatest. And so over time, 120 FPS, especially when they optimize it more, mobile is still in the optimization phase. There's a lot of glitches. There's a lot of bugs. Things can definitely run better than they do already. But people have to realize it's a phone.
Yeah,
it is a
for sure.
Mobile device. People have boxy towers filled with computer components that can run good frames because that's what it's built for. And so phones aren't even meant for gaming. And it's a miracle that you can get 60 frames on some of these devices. So I think with time frames will come, and there definitely is a bottleneck when it comes to
bottleneck for sure.
that regard with hardware and frames and stuff like that. So hopefully devs will optimize the game a little bit more. The new iPads, the new iPhones come out with some crazy fast processors. I don't know. I don't do any of this crap, so I don't know how far away that is. But like I said, somebody was able to go into the game files, get 120 FPS, and basically rock that pretty consistently on the newest iPad. So it's possible, but at the same time, they're not going to allow little Timmy to break the $800 iPad his mom bought him for Christmas because he's cranking some 90s on max frames and blowing up the battery. So seems like a win-loss. I don't know.
And then another thing, too, is like, the debate of like you probably seen it on my tweets too, like the debate of Android versus iOS, and then you made your video about the tablet, right? The S5e.
It's so bad.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because Apple. So I was talking to someone, I forgot exactly who it was, but they're part of an organization and they contacted Apple about getting involved in a tournament, and Apple actually responded, and this was their response. They said, our products are built for business, not gaming. That was the response. So it's crazy because we have these PUBG Mobile tournaments and we have the Fortnite event. So the iconic skin and the Galaxy skin, those are because Samsung is saying, hey, we want to get involved. And they're really pushing to get involved in the scene. And it kind of sucks because Android it has that bottleneck where it's just like laggy. There's the delay. No matter how good the devices get that I've seen, iOS is just superior. Like it's a fact. And it sucks that they're not getting involved.
This tablet right here, I'm charging it up for a video. Samsung Tab, whatever. This is the same price point as
the 2017.
The 2017, 2018, it's the newest tablet released by Samsung, not for gaming or whatever. But it is the same price or very close to the iPad Mini 2018, the newest iPad Mini. It's $500.
Oh yeah.
The iPad Mini runs 60 frames, medium or high graphics on Fortnite. This thing, 30 FPS, low graphics.
So
I would argue if I plugged a display into a potato, I would receive better graphics than what this thing is producing. I think when I was at the Epic Games HQ, Android was fresh. It had recently come out, and they were mentioning how, it's so hard to really, iOS, it's one operating system, just different versions, iOS 11, 12, whatever. Android, you've got multiple different companies making multiple different phones on multiple different processors and GPUs, and there's so many varieties of layouts and configurations for devices that can be made. So when you're trying to optimize a game for every device in the world, it just can't be done. And that's where I think the bottleneck is that, Samsung hasn't gone to Epic Games and said, hey, we're going to give you, we want this to run really good on mobile. Put the time and effort into it. And they could do it. They could probably do it, get 60 FPS in this device. But I just don't think the initiative is there right now for that. So Android, iOS is superior. It sucks that they have such a market share over the Android scene. I would love to see some improvements in terms of Android tablets for sure.
Yeah.
Will it happen? It's up to the developers. It's also up to the companies to give some pressure to the developers of these games. But iOS just runs so much smoother. Android they got good on paper. They have good stats.
Yeah.
But they just can't compete. It's so weird.
It's something weird about it. And I also saw another person in the chat, No One iOS. He said, should they ban iPads in competitive play? Now this is one thing I kind of wanted to touch on because
Omega lol.
It's so weird because each game has a different competition layout. So like Rules of Survival, they say, all right, you play on a iPad, iPhone, you play in the same tournament. Fortnite says you play Fortnite, you play in the same tournament. Like that's a whole different approach. Then you have games like PUBG Mobile that say if you own a phone, then you can play. And then it gets kind of confusing because like you take the Tab, the Samsung Note 9 or whatever, and you compare that to a iPad Mini, and you got like an inch difference, right? So where's the line drawn? So with mobile, I feel like because the device is all in one, you can't customize it. We're definitely at a point where the scene is kind of getting developed on what the standard will be in terms of esports. And Fortnite's approach right now is saying, hey, these guys they can play just as well as anyone else. Well, not just as well, but they can play. They can play like anyone else. What do you think of that? Like, do you think they should have their own esports section, or do you understand why they don't?
I understand, and I respect their decision to try to put mobile people up against PC.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, there's been one controller player to qualify for the World Cup out of 8 weeks of qualifiers.
Really?
8 weeks qualifiers. You've got one controller player.
Is it Aiden or is it a rando?
It's Aiden, I think.
Oh, okay.
Or there's maybe three or four. Then I don't know.
Nick Merckx. Yeah.
No, he hasn't done it yet.
Oh, okay.
But there's an extremely small percentage of people on controller that have qualified for the World Cup, and then you're going to tell mobile players to qualify for the same tournament on an iPad with 60 frames. You're touching on a screen. It's so weird, dude. It's like, I think somewhere on an AMA, competitive AMA for Fortnite, it was announced that they are going to be releasing console and mobile specific arena tournaments or something like that soon. So it is a step in the right direction. I think they've realized that there's a reason no one from mobile is qualifying, because you just can't. It's literally impossible. Device limitations. Your fingers can only move so fast on a touchscreen. So there are some insanely gifted mobile players, insanely talented, but even them, it's just not possible. So the whole device thing, I'd say screw that, because there's iPhone players better than me around the world. It is insane how good you could be on a screen.
Yeah.
iPads give you that sort of, here's a gift of a lot of screen real estate. Go use it. If you use it wisely, you can become good. But iPhone players have to work a little bit harder to get to that level, but it's still very achievable. So banning iPhone and iPad play, or like just making them play in different arenas, I think it's a very slippery slope, because then you're saying, well, there's an iPhone tournament, there's an iPad tournament. What are you going to play in? Well, the iPad tournament has more money because there's more players, there's bigger people. So it's personal preference when it comes down to it. Same thing with keyboards. I mean, obviously it's a big difference with screen size, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's slippery slope. I don't think they should do it for pubs at all, but competitive, definitely give the option between iPhone and iPad. The Samsung event was really dumb. You could only compete on a Samsung tablet.
Oh, really?
Or no, a Samsung phone.
Oh, okay.
And you have so I had never played on a Samsung phone before, and I was going to compete in this tournament. So it was just very scuffed all around. I don't know. It's.
I think it also boils down to the designers of games. So actually in Rules of Survival on an iPad, you have less aim assist than a phone. So if game developers could kind of figure out a way to balance iPad or tablets and phones in a way that like pushes them nearer to the same like skill limit or skill level, I think that'd be a good way to approach it. But then another thing too is like if you look at a player on a 60 hertz monitor, they're playing with their Goodwill mouse, like that guy versus a guy on a 27-inch 144 hertz HyperX mouse and keyboard, like
240.
Yeah, 240. Like, will Epic Games, well, I guess Epic Games is awful because I think they did this, but will they put everyone down to 60 hertz with a crappy mouse? Like,
no, that was a joke, by the way.
Oh, was it?
That was making people play. Yeah, it was a meme.
Oh, okay, good. So yeah, they would. It's a joke. That's the exactly.
Yeah.
So going down to the lowest common denominator is one way. Like you said, a slippery slope. Like I could understand maybe separating, but just taking out iPads, I think there's some issues with it. And in Fortnite Mobile, they'll never do that because they said like, hey, mobile players are compete. Like you can play in the World Cup, you can try to compete. So they're not going to take out the best mobile device you can play on because they're going to put them together. But I think overall in the mobile scene, that's one thing that has to be figured out for sure. And Fortnite Mobile kind of has the luxury, I guess you could call it, of not having to worry about that. If you just want to be really good at the game and compete, you have to get an iPad. Well, not have to, but
I mean. It's no coincidence that all the best players in the world are on iPads.
Yeah.
But there are also some extremely talented iPhone players. There's just no competitive scene for Fortnite Mobile. So there's no way to gauge, is an iPhone capable of doing this? Is a tablet, like, do you need to, because we've never been put on that stage before. We've been put in customs, we've been this and that, but we've never been put on a stage where we're all competing with a point system, just like PC players. So until more testing and research is done in that regard, I think it is hard to tell if you have to separate the lobbies or if you have to use a certain device. Like I said, it's really slippery slope. Things are, of course, going to have to be figured out in that regard. So hopefully things get figured out, but I don't know, man.
Yeah. So another question I had, we have 12 more minutes, and I think this might be the last question, then we'll get into some viewer questions. I wanted to ask you about Twitch, YouTube, platforms in general. I know we kind of talked about this prior to the stream, but you're a Twitch streamer and a YouTube uploader, so you upload like highlights, videos, things like that.
TV.
So how do you see Twitch in terms of the mobile scene? How do you see Fortnite Mobile playing a role in developing that scene? Because I know in like PUBG Mobile, I think Facebook and YouTube are dominant. But how do you see like Fortnite Mobile and Twitch, and just Twitch as a platform for mobile?
Oh, it sucks, dude. It sucks.
It sucks. Well, you're the biggest by far, right? On Twitch.
Yeah. So for Fortnite Mobile, I'm the biggest mobile streamer, and I think.
Yeah.
Out of any mobile game, I might be the biggest mobile streamer just because the category of Twitch is so, or the category of Fortnite is so forgiving in that regard that if somebody is just scrolling down the section, a mobile player, interesting, I'll click on it. I
Yeah.
get a lot of those guys and say, what up, Ferg? Yeah, Twitch is garbage for mobile streaming. And so the problem with Twitch, regardless of your game, regardless of whatever, at the end of the day, Twitch sucks for growing your stream by just streaming. There's no algorithm. The only way you can get put up higher on a list is if you have more viewers. The only way you can get more viewers is if you put higher on a list. So it's a constant cycle. It's a constant paradox. If I guess if you want to call that, in terms of how to grow your stream on Twitch. And so mobile or YouTube is like, dude, screw it, bro. You got 12 subscribers, 4K views. Let's go.
That's a fact.
Give it the 10.
I've seen that.
I had,
that's true.
Santa had 7, 8, 12K subs.
Oh my god, dude, when he popped off,
he literally popped off 90K subs in a day. Like, that's just an example. That's an example of, the YouTube algorithm going crazy. And so
the closest thing to that on Twitch is a host. I mean, really, that's about it. But
even then, when Tifa hosted me, I got 2K followers off of the 40,000 viewer host.
Yeah.
And so the conversion rate's not there. Just Twitch as a whole is very hard to grow on if you're not consistent and if you don't have a really good fan base. So luckily I've been able to say, yo, YouTube peeps, if you want to watch the stream, you go to Twitch. It's linked in the description. But for mobile especially, I'm a mobile streamer, and the only way I can let people know I'm a mobile streamer is by putting a mobile in the title. One of the first few words I try to put: four-finger mobile player, top mobile player. Because other than that, people don't know. People are just gonna scroll by.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just another Twitch streamer, so there's no tags. Like, you can look on your tag right now, English IRL. There's no mobile tag for the stream, and that's so ignorant from Twitch. And so I think I've heard from, I've heard from some companies, some people in the scene that within the next year or two, Twitch is gonna be making a more push for mobile, but it's really unfortunate that they have such little support for the people who are already sharing their platform. And I think a lot more people would try it out or maybe stick to it if it wasn't so ignorant to just start out on, because it truly is. I got my start on YouTube and I wouldn't be where I am without YouTube streaming, but it sucks now for the algorithm purposes for me. And so I had to switch to Twitch because I'm uploading videos. And so Facebook is interesting in that regards. They're just like, bro, money. They're just chucking it.
Yeah.
And so you have to decide what you want. Do you want, a good community, which I would say Twitch is? Do you want money, which I would say Facebook is? Or do you want potentially a lot of growth, which is YouTube?
Yeah.
So they've got their pros and cons of each. But Twitch, the one thing I could say is the community. Regardless if I get this PC or console players in there, they're almost 9 times out of 10 nicer than the YouTube plebs that come in and are spamming, all this crap in the chat. But
that's another thing you were saying about, like, well, first of all, stream. I had to bring that up. Anyway, so you were talking about YouTube and versus Twitch. So the thing about YouTube too is you have viewers that like are scrolling through YouTube, right? Bored as hell. And they just open it up. They see your stream. They hop in. Now your viewer count goes up and all that. And that's great. You get like possibly more donations. But again, you get those trolls. Twitch is more of a conscious like, okay, I'm either following this guy or I am looking for I'm getting on Twitch to watch a live stream. So also another thing too is the fan base on Twitch is much more American in Europe. So the overall income is a little bit higher. So donations are higher. Just kind of how it works. Whereas YouTube is much more global. Oh, would you disagree? Oh, for me,
YouTube
it's like
donations. That. Oh my god, dude! You've got little kids who've got access to their phones, their parents' phones, who have Apple Pay linked. Hey, Ducky, nice stream. $10 dono. It just takes a nice fingerprint access. You're good to go.
Yeah.
The amount of kids, dude, that would donate. Like, I've never received that many donations in my life.
So let's say, let me rephrase.
So
legitimate donations.
Legitimate. The revenue streams on Twitch are... Well, I was also pulling more viewers back then.
Yeah.
So if I was pulling the same viewers, I'd probably pull the same revenue. But yeah, donations, bro. Ooh, yo, High Sky was streaming for the first, on YouTube. And I was like, this kid's fine. People are like, his revenue, what happened, dude? I'm like, you forgot about YouTube donations, bro. They're so crazy. So
Yeah.
it's
fine.
it's different. It's interesting, but Twitch is more of like a legitimate. You've got ads, you've got subs, you've got bits.
Subs is a big thing too. I feel like YouTube
Yeah,
memberships don't match the level
oh,
of
there's
subs.
such a big like. I have
Yeah.
YouTube Premium.
Yeah.
And it would be amazing if I could subscribe or join or member somebody once a month.
Yeah.
For that, but I can't. For some weird reason, they are like, screw it. You can't do anything with YouTube Premium besides get no ads, which is fine. But like, it'd be that one, charge me $1 or $2 more. I don't care. But, God, such a missed out opportunity in that regard. But yeah, I think Twitch,
agree.
legitimacy-wise, is more legitimate in terms of the ad revenue. More consistent because you don't rely on donations as much as you do. So, yeah. Somebody said, I see streamers who have 100, 150. Like, dude, I've had streams where I made $1,000 in donations.
Yeah,
like
me
you
too.
could take 30 or 40% of that, but they just, if the kid gets a hold of their mom's like phone, oh, they're going to town, bro.
That's funny.
It's a payday for you.
That's true. Another thing too, when we were talking about earlier on Twitch, how you stream on the Fortnite section because there's no Fortnite mobile section. So PUBG has a PUBG and PUBG mobile section. Is that something you'd like to see with Fortnite? I doubt it'll happen because of that crossplay. Would you like to see it though, or do you kind of like the aspect of, hey, there's these Fortnite guys, they scroll and they're like, hey, mobile player. Do you think you get a lot of growth off that surprise factor? Or do you think it'd be nice to have this like, okay, I'm a Fortnite mobile player, I want to go watch other Fortnite mobile players, this is how I'm gonna do it? Or do you, like I said, do you kind of like the way it is now a little bit?
I think one of the only reasons I'm as big as I am in the entire scene is because of that Fortnite, the overall, like,
the surprise.
it doesn't matter if, it doesn't matter if I'm playing mobile, if I'm playing console. I still have the same content on my mobile device that somebody has on their console or PC. So PC players can watch me, console players can watch me, and it'll be the exact same game, and they'll recognize it, and they'll understand, and they'll appreciate it. The surprise factor helps, and so when if I were to go to Fortnite mobile only, I'm losing out. I'm branching myself off into a super small subcategory that just mobile players aren't on Twitch right now. They're really on YouTube because there's not that many mobile streamers on Twitch. It's heavily PC and console dominated. And so I think over time it'll get better. But right now it is severely lacking in the support for mobile streamers. But I think branching ourselves off into Fortnite mobile will be a poor decision because we would lose those eyeballs from everyone else on the Fortnite section. So I think being in the Fortnite section on Twitch has really helped me. And just, I guess PUBG Mobile would be the same thing. You play PUBG Mobile. It's the same game. You understand it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I definitely see that. It's difficult because as a viewer, if you're a Fortnite Mobile viewer, it's so hard to find people. So you kind of go on YouTube, you look up Fortnite Mobile. Like, it's really the only way unless you have like a set people like you watch. But also there is that aspect of having a overall general category and then kind of getting that surprise factor. So I remember you played with back in the day, it was Avery
and Typical Gamer.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of the surprise factor too. You had a lot of viewers like holy shit.
Oh
like, this guy's
they were, dude. I was literally walking around just like ramp rushing for like just ignorantly wasting mats.
Yeah, I watched it. It was crazy.
Like they hopped on my stream. They're like, dude, what's this kid doing? Oh, he's cracked. I'm like, I'm just walking around, bro. Like I wasn't in my full form, and so that was really like one of the first instances of pro players like, gosh dang, mobile players can become cracked. And so there are still people out there who have the preconceived notion that every mobile player is bad. They all play on an iPhone, and so it's just education with the Fortnite scene. A lot of Fortnite pros, though, I will give them credit, are very they understand a mobile and they realize it is. You might not be as good as a PC player, but you're also on a mobile device. So
shout out Myth.
It is shout out Myth, shout out Tifu, and a lot of other really cool
Kitty
guys
plays.
in this team. Yeah.
Shout out Kitty Plays regardless of what she said. Shout out Kitty Plays.
Yeah. There are people who still just think we're all trash.
Yeah.
But that's also really Epic
too.
Games' fault in the eyes that they haven't given us an opportunity to showcase our skills. We're never going to be able to showcase our skills against PC players because unless I'm invited to like an invitational, like a summer skirmish. It's just not going to happen on my own against an average PC player. So if Epic Games makes the mobile tournaments, has somebody cast them, get some eyes on it, I think that'd be really great. You know, I'm not clouded enough to join Fortnite Friday, so that
you're getting there. I mean, you're bigger than some of the people joining, like 400k, 100k. Like your reach with 600k maybe total. It's got to be bigger than some of those guys. I think you're on the brink.
But I think it's still like just got that. Keemstar has that preconceived, you know, mobile players suck. They have no, there is no big mobile players. So at the end of the day, I don't know. Things might change. I really hope they do, and in the favor of players getting more respect, getting more recognition, notoriety, stuff like that. I think it'll happen. Yeah, it's such a new scene, and developers, community managers, competitive managers, they don't know what to do with the mobile. It's sort of that weird kid in the corner of the room. They're like, what is he doing there? He's giving us money, but what is he doing there? So hopefully we will be able to I don't know, just get somewhere, get some progress. Progress is being made, but not as fast as I want it to be.
Yeah, and I think so Keemstar blocked me, so I don't have the greatest relationship with Keemstar. I don't even remember what it was.
I deleted my tweet because I thought he was gonna block me. I don't know if you saw my tweet, but I replied to him. I was like, so mobile player with 750k combined followers isn't clouded enough, and got like 100, 200 likes, something like that. And I was like, screw it, bro. I don't want to get blocked today, so I just deleted it.
Well, like for him, I feel like if he let a mobile player in, it'd bring a community to him. It would build a storyline. Like if you did well, if whoever was in it did well, that would like not only boost mobile, it would boost himself because he's building in this new following. People are getting in, and the storyline is the biggest thing. Like people love stories, and like Tfue and Cloak, like they were big, but when they won 3 of those Fortnite Fridays, like it elevated them, right? Like building a new storyline like that, taking someone that's smaller and kind of helping them out and boosting them and letting them get involved. I feel like it's something that he could do. It probably won't. Again, he blocked me. I don't like Keemstar. But it's something I would like to see for sure.
So it's funny because it's like a Keemstar UMG mix-up tournament, and I'm actually friends. Not friends, but I know people at UMG. I've been invited to the tournaments before. I've been invited like 8 times. I've only played in like 1 or 2 because scheduling issues. It just hasn't worked out. But they want me to play them because it's something to commentate over. When I make it to the second round and beat a PC player, that is content for them. That is something they can commentate. It's not just the same old, PC player beats PC player. Woo. PC player. It's, this mobile player, he's holding his own. What's going on? Oh, unfortunate mobile player lost the PC player. He got really close. Hey, at the tournament recap, this mobile player went off. Like, it's just something unique and something that hasn't happened before.
Yeah, well, remember that one guy, the Russian player, had the high-ass mouse sensitivity? Remember seeing that all over YouTube? The guy that would build 360s? Do you remember that? It was a couple months ago. It was a big storyline. Like, obviously, you're used to YouTube clickbait. Like, like, imagine, like, mobile player, like, almost beats FaZe, you know, stuff like that. Like, that boosts the community. That's how Tfue actually got really big, too, partially, was Tfue versus Ninja on YouTube. That was kind of what really set him off. But, like, building those unique stories is something that could do so well. And I just feel like it's so hard to, like, as soon as we hit that threshold, it'll pop off. But we're still not to that point where someone really wants to dive in. I feel like Apex has. I really like what FaZe, that's his name, right? FaZe Apex? The guy
FaZe Apex.
Yeah, he's kind of doing that. Like, it benefits him to make a video like that, but obviously it benefits the mobile community kind of getting involved. Yeah. Really like stuff like that.
There's almost any time I made a video with somebody, it does extremely well for their content. Like, let's say they average 100k views, upload a video, 200, 300k views. It's just something unique. You know, my fan base, if they see it, I made a video with them, they're going to click on that. And so that wow factor is still very much in play, because the fact that we're keeping up with, you know, some of these PC players, like, you know, they thought we probably would have stopped at just some 90s, you know, some regular old crap. So, I don't know. It's just interesting how some people have just treated mobile players, some with much more respect than others. And the people who have given me a lot of respect, usually, if they ever make content with me, it does well for them. Because I feel like they understand that. They see that there's potential there. And sooner or later, you know, everyone, or not everyone, but the respect is going to be there from mobile players. Just gotta be, you know, from both sides, devs and the community. So.
And so, okay, so we're kind of getting low on time, and I know you have stuff to do. How much time do you have? Could we get like 5 more minutes in, maybe?
Yeah. I just
Okay.
gotta record a video. We're straight.
Oh, okay, cool. So one of the final questions I have, if we had, let's say, I don't know, 50. Here, let me reset the question. Do you think mobile players that are getting 240 say there's no device limitations, they're getting 240 FPS. The only limitation is that they have to play on an iPad with their fingers. So it's like the controls are the same, but let's say like we're on the 2022 iPad and it's perfect. Right?
Okay.
Do you think those guys would be able to compete with console in a way that they could? So if, say the World Cup is console and mobile players, but they have the exact same FPS and all that, do you think mobile players would be able to qualify?
Yes.
You think they could compete just as well?
I think, well, when you've got a controller, convenient PS4 controller here, you're playing with 4 fingers.
Me too.
You've got sometimes claw with 5 fingers. So when you're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, same thing as a mobile claw player, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh,
so you're using the same amount of fingers. The only thing console has is some ignorant aim assist on mobile, and that's a really weird thing. Or not mobile, on Fortnite. So I would be interested to see, outfragged a controller player in one of those tournaments before, Ghost X or whatever. I outfragged in one of the games. Mobile players can be really talented. It's just if you put a lot of time and effort into it, it's possible. It can happen. So I think against PC players, never. Doesn't matter to the frames, doesn't matter the iPad, whatever. They are going to be way more precise, way more mechanically gifted with how.
No, I pressed the button.
8. It's crazy. Oh, you pressed something?
Hold on, yeah.
Oh no!
I pulled out the Oculus Rift. I like bumped it, and then it like kicked me. Hold on one sec. Hold on. Sorry, stream. I didn't mean to do that. Give me 2 seconds. Yo, I done made an oopsie, guys.
Wait, can they hear me?
Yeah, they can still. You can keep talking. I'll just try to get the
Okay, yeah. But controller, I would say there's a very good possibility that mobile can go up against controller for 100%. That's a very true possibility.
Yeah.
So,
well, another thing
will it
too.
Happen?
Hey, go on.
But like, it's once again, will Epic Games give us the opportunity to get to that point where we're going up against controller players? It doesn't matter, theoretically, theory this, that. Like, you just, at the end of the day, Epic Games has gotta do stuff for the mobile community that we can't do on our own. And if that happens, great. If it doesn't happen, it's not our fault. We did everything we can. That's sort of where the content creation comes into it. I make videos. I perform well in the videos. People can check out my other content. I got some gameplay and stuff like that. So, it's being a pro player for mobile is a joke. It might never happen. It will probably never happen. But at the same time, a content creator for mobile, proven time and time again, can be done quite easily with a good amount of success. So it would be interesting to see that go down, console versus mobile in in an unhandicapped kind of style, like you're talking about.
Yeah, and I feel like one of the only real limitations of mobile versus console is the fact that your finger covers the screen. Because if you think about it, like a joystick, your finger has like, I don't know, I'm looking at a joystick right now on a controller. Your finger has an inch diameter or circumference that you can go around. Whereas mobile, if you want to do a 180, you just... Yeah, whereas console, depending on how high your sense is, you gotta like move like that. No, they can't. I'm trying to get like my webcam set
I
up,
basically just went all across the screen, boys. Just imagine that, okay? Won't.
Oh, okay. There, they can kind of see you. This is a super toxic setup.
Won't. There you go. That's basically what I did. Whoa! What the?
This is one way of doing it.
Whoa, dude. That's good. That's good. Yeah. So that's basically what happened. And I don't know. The same thing with PC. That's why I don't like limitations with the joystick. That's why I was not a fan of it at all, because you're limited to how fast this can go. On PC, you can do whatever you want. Same thing on mobile. You could flick your thumb as fast and hard as you want. So that's sort of why I don't like console. I just don't like that aspect of it. Call of Duty, perfectly fine. But when you're Fortnite, you're 90ing, you're 360ing, you're editing, you gotta do these things so fast to the point where it's, oh, okay, nice. I like that. Go on the face cam. Yeah, I saw on stream. So it'll be interesting. I don't know.
No, yeah,
the progression of mobile and console and how it plays out in the scene of mixing everything together to the point where it's not impossible for people to perform well, but
yeah,
it's just a lot of things have to fold out.
Yeah. Unfold, yeah, and I saw Surfing Boy commenting about it. So I don't play a lot of Fortnite mobile. I haven't experienced like late competitive zones, but I remember seeing like I commented.
Frames.
Yeah, he was saying like it's not even a limitation of controls; it's a limitation of the frames late game, and like how it literally becomes impossible no matter how good you are.
Now.
Oh, has it gotten better?
It's gotten better for sure.
And even with like your device, I imagine like it's one of the best. But if people are like trying on my iPad, which is decent, or like a iPad or iPhone X, whatever, like it can get more difficult. The frames lag and all that. So that's why I kind of set it in like that perfect world of 120, 240 FPS.
Yeah, exactly. That's sort of what it. That's what. At the end of it, is what device are we playing on? Who are we going up against, and what is the developer doing for mobile content creators that we can't do for ourselves, mobile players that we can't do for ourselves? So if Epic Games does some mobile tournaments like they're going to do with cons, whatever, big ups to them. I'd be really hyped about that. But other than that, I'm going to keep making content, keep streaming. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. It's been working. I enjoy it. I'm not looking to become a pro player anytime soon because I suck at the game in terms of being a competitive player. Like I'm good mechanically, but like competitively, I don't have that in me. So
yeah,
it'll we'll see. The future has a lot to unfold and what is to come for mobile. I think mobile has a lot of big things ahead of it, but there's also got to be a lot done to help out the mobile scene. So
yeah, 100%. We're gonna see developers like really creating the stepping stones for how it works and how competition across all games works. It's still so early to tell how everything is gonna work, how devices are gonna work, how sponsorships are gonna work, just everything. And organizations too, which by the way, make sure to check out DuckyTheGamer on his socials for an org announcement tomorrow.
Org boys.
Yeah, it's gonna be a PogChamp for sure.
Yeah, so that's that's all the promos I got. It's fine. I'm not really here to self-promote. Just here to talk about some
yeah, I'll self-promote for you. So yeah, all his socials over there. Really quickly, we're gonna do questions at the end of the interview. I might have to explain the format at the beginning of the stream next time because I don't think anyone really got it. But basically, you donate a bit, you ask a question, and then if someone else donates like 100 bits, and then it goes up, like the highest 5 donators will be able to have their questions be answered. I think, let me double check. No one said he loves you with 10 bits. Some people said notice me, stuff like that, subs. So yeah, nobody really followed the organization, but it's fun. First stream. Thank you, Ducky. Ask this. This is good.
Yeah, that's a good question. Should triggers be allowed in comp or even pubs?
I think pubs, yes, for sure.
Pubs, yes. Comp is a little bit of a tricky slope because then you can be getting
third party.
And then you have the thing of what's a trigger.
Yeah.
Does it do what can it do? You have to set so many rules and guidelines where it's like it's almost not worth it because like I said, phone players and console player iPad players can, like I said, if you want to put your time and effort into it, you can be about the same skill level wise. Triggers for Fortnite are not worth it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
For Call of Duty Mobile and PUBG Mobile, maybe, but for Fortnite with the claw aspect, you have way too much stuff to do just to add 2 little buttons, and it can't do it all. So
yeah, that's
for Fortnite.
The thing, yeah.
Triggers don't benefit you. Call of Duty Mobile and PUBG Mobile, I would assume they benefit you more because there's less buttons to click. You're not doing 90s, you're not switching builds. So it might be more advantageous in those games. But
yeah, my quick opinion on that too is like Claw is just so much more versatile that you're gonna limit yourself with triggers. But if you're a casual player who doesn't want to be crazy, but you also don't feel like 2 thumbs is enough, like getting those like MGC, I think they make a case. I think it's MGC.
Yeah.
So there's companies like that are getting involved, and I fully support that because it helps grow casual players. But in terms of competitive, I don't think it's even worth it. And I think that line that's created is really sketchy, because now you're saying third-party software. Like, where does it stop? Like, what can you do?
Yeah.
And like thumb sleeves is another thing. Like, I don't think it's cheating by any means, but are they gonna say in competitions you can't use them? Yeah, exactly.
I would lose every competition, bro. I'm cracked with my thumb sleeves. Use code Ducky for 0% off all of your thumb sleeves, because these companies hate me. I'm selling out their products. They don't want to sponsor me.
I don't have autofocus. Anyways. I got some dinky ones, and I'm so bad with them. But if I like practice, I feel like it'd be way more consistent.
Bro, well, I know some players aim with like it's just personal preference for me. Yeah, it's personal preference. If you like it, you don't like it. If you want to play with it, it's one of those things. It's almost like claw. You want to play with it, you can switch things up, you can change it. If it doesn't help you out, it doesn't help you out.
Yeah.
And you're not harming anyone. But if it helps you out, like me, it's more slick, it's more reliable. I've got used to it. I could play without it perfectly fine, but it's kind of weird at this point. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't think, but that's not like hardware. It's just like here's a cloth.
Yeah, for sure. So. All right, very last question. We're gonna call it here. Should mobile games ban emulating? Like, if the PC detects or if the game detects a emulator, it should either ban the player or put them in a PC or console lobby. I think if you use controller, so Fortnite is basically the only game that can do this. I think whatever you're playing on, you get put in that lobby. But the difficult thing is like PUBG Mobile and all that. Like, I think emulators should kind of be allowed, but it gets difficult. That's my opinion.
I think emulators should be allowed, but they should not be able to play in the servers that
Mr. Bates.
But they should not be allowed to play in the servers that mobile players play in.
Yeah.
I think what ROS did was really interesting in terms of like, it's like it felt like, I don't know, it felt like the same exact game, looked like the same game. Mobile, you can tell it's mobile, but ROS was like, I think they did something really cool where it was like the same sort of, I don't know. It wasn't like the same route of going through an installer and going through the Epic Games Steam Marketplace. You're just launching an application on your desktop that lets you play the game. And I think that was really cool. PUBG Mobile, I think if you play with emulators, you get put in emulator lobbies.
Yeah, I believe so.
Things like that. So definitely, it's more players. That does not hurt, but just you cannot allow them to play in regular games with people who are on mobile devices.
Yeah.
It's not going to function in the slightest. So
yeah, I agree.
That's my thought on emulators.
Yeah, and my last point on that too is that it does get difficult, because if you separate the player base too much, you see a lot of games die from that, because now you have 100 people playing the game. Cool, 100 is sustainable. You split them up into 10 different lobbies. Now those 10 people are like, this lobby's like dead. They leave. Now you have 0 players. So it is a difficult. It's a fine line, and I feel like a lot of people don't get that, and devs are trying to like balance it. But we'll see how it develops for sure.
That's my fear with switching for iPhone and tablets. If the player base, I'm already waiting, at night 30, 40 seconds for a squad game. You split those up, that's 1 to 2 minutes. That's just, so I think it's not the reward is not there in the slightest for what you would be doing for the players. At this, they're adding Switch players, they're adding controller players to the game.
Yeah.
Screw it, dude. Like, let's just add PC players into our servers and call it a day. So
yeah,
that's a whole different topic. But I don't really care about Switch because I'm legit clapped. I'm legit goated on the screen, so I clap everyone, bro.
Yeah. I mean, that's so you got to go, dude. So if we went 17 minutes over, but yeah. So once again, as we close out, 2 things. I'm sorry for the screen mishap. That's why I don't mess with the VR stuff. When I've learned it's a learning curve.
You should have interviewed in VR, dude. That'd be pop. Whoa,
that'd actually be kind of sick.
That's it. If I'd have to get VR as well, but
dude, go in VR chat and do it or something. That'd be so funny. Actually, get like a model of like your actual self.
Yeah, that'd be great, bro.
But yeah. So once again, if you guys want to follow all his socials, they are linked at the bottom left of his cam. If you want to follow TheNest, which is this podcast, bottom left, my socials are here. Tons of socials. Follow whatever you want. If you do want to see the VOD of this, it'll be on TheNest YouTube and also the Twitch, which is Hawk's Nest. And we'll be doing another one in like 4 days, 5 days maybe. We're working on the guests, but it should be someone pretty cool. But yeah, Ducky, thank you. Because that was really interesting to hear about all that and the scene and all that, your channel.
I had fun. It's always fun talking about like, because mobile players don't like understand the struggle or like content creators. So it's really nice talking to like a fellow mobile content creator that understands and like can relate and like continue a conversation, not just be like, so why play mobile? And I tell you, oh, that's cool. Okay, I like mobile too.
I hate that question. Why play mobile?
Oh, dude,
When you have a nice PC.
Yeah, you're literally streaming on a PC, bro. Just stream. So it's always nice to do these kind of things. I always enjoy them. So I don't care that we went 20 minutes over. I mean, it's what, Friday? It does not matter. Fortnite Friday's on, so I can't even stream. I'll have 2 viewers. PewDiePie's playing right now. So.
Oh, is he? Damn. Oh, he's on D Live too. I think.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because that's his like.
Oh yeah, he signed a contract.
Yeah, that could be big for them. Damn.
Oh, he is on there.
Huh, that's pretty cool.
No way, bro. I want PewDiePie to catch that dub.
All right, well, anyways, my outro. I don't have an outro yet, but if you guys enjoyed, follow socials, and yeah, make sure to sub to the YouTube if you're watching this on the YouTube, and sub to Ducky as well. He's this way. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and we're out. Ducky can say his goodbyes now.
Peace. That's my outro.
All right, see you, chat.
Oh, goodbye. Goodbye.